Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host with the most Renaissance man who always thinks he can, the champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, St. Patty Pitts over here in the yard streams for another edition of the Smackdown Breakdown, part of Pitts and Sara's wrestling show where we take no nights off. And obviously you can't have our show, you can't break down Smackdown without the best of the West. You can't forget about Sara Marshall. What's popping, girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
How we doing?
We're doing.
How do we like my I grew up my beard, as you can see.
I see that.
It's St. Patty's Day, as you probably can see if you're watching this right now. I'm not in the Pitts Cave. We are at the Southie Pad, una casa de mi amigo, for the St. Patrick Day Parade in Southie. All right, we're prepping, staying over, and going out tonight in the town because you gotta celebrate a holiday that's named after you, Sara. All right, that's just my rule of thumb. So if you were watching this and you want to go out, we'll be out into town tonight, all right, in Boston. So, but I was walking around and I see everyone partying, getting ready. I mean, I'm kind of getting ready here with my bevy, but things need to get talked about, Sara. All right, meat comes first. You ever see Kicking and Screaming?
Yeah, forever ago. I actually saw it in the theaters.
Wow,
I know.
I think I did too, actually.
Yeah, that was back when I one of the only things we could do in high school was like go downtown, and there was a movie theater downtown. So it was like one of the things that we would do all the time besides like hanging out at the grocery store, So
you went grocery store. We went mall.
We didn't have a mall.
Oh, then that's
so our downtown consisted of Barnes and Noble, Red Robin, like the main places. I mean, Top Foods, which is a grocery store. So we would hang out like in the food court area. Yeah, Top Food and Drug. Never
heard of that.
Yeah, and then what else did it have? It had a Chipotle. No, Chipotle came later. No, so it had a Mongolian grill. So good. Like that one reason why I miss Washington is for Mongolian grill. Like, oh, so good. But otherwise, yeah, that's like all we did. Like we would just like hang out in like random parking lots or like the grocery store. So, yeah.
Remember those days? Yeah, and I see everyone walking around having darties. I love a good darty. Can't wait to experience that tomorrow. But Champ gets business done first. We got to talk about what went on Smackdown last night, which Sara, we did hit kind of a bump in the road, and not in a bad way. It's kind of one of those, we'll say it's a pit stop. All right. This is if we're going to be metaphorical here, if you're going to talk about the road to WrestleMania, you're going to need to fuel up, and not just at these premium live events. You're going to have to, someone's got to go to the bathroom, or, gas is getting low. That's what it felt like with this show, is that it just felt like, all right, we've slowed down a bit. We're not less excited for WrestleMania after watching the show, but we could take this week, take it or leave it.
I kind of think it's like, I think in some regard they're kind of behind on setting things up for WrestleMania. Like there were so many matches basically that were made this week. And I think Smackdown was one that was like, okay, well, what are they going to do with these people and these people and these people? And so it felt like not a whole lot happened this week because they needed to make sure that they made these matches now so that we know now, because it's like 3 weeks till Mania. And so I think that was part of the problem. Like anytime that they're trying to build up a feud or to make a match, it is kind of, I don't want to use the term boring necessarily, but it can be, because certain things have to happen in order for it to make sense for a match to be made. And so I think that kind of played a huge part in how Smackdown went, because basically everything revolved around confirming a match for Mania. So it seemed to like limit what they could do, I guess.
1,000%. It definitely felt like the end. Well, I don't know what that was. The end of every segment or match
Mm.
kind of alluded to or confirmed
Yeah.
their Mania match.
Yeah.
Like, in by alluding to, the only thing I can think of is the tag team tournament. Like, I mean, there's just everything else is just like, all right, we're at this part of the story, we're at the middle, kind
Hmm.
of boring, but you get through it. And the thing is, I talk, down about it, I would say, but not because I didn't like it. You know what I mean? Like, it just felt like a show that you had to watch because you're keeping up with the programming.
Hmm. Yeah, it wasn't anything that like, you go back and rewatch or something. Like it did a job. So, and sometimes you have to just accept it, I guess, because I know a lot of the time if there is a mediocre Raw or like a not that great SmackDown, people complain and it's like, but every week isn't going to be a banger. Like every single week isn't going to be a show top notch. Oh my god, I can't believe that happened. That's how it is for any wrestling promotion or any television show that you watch. Like not every episode is going to be really good. And so I think expectations are just a little bit different based on the fact that we're only 3 weeks away from Mania, so people are expecting every single week to be really good, but it's just not possible. You can't. As like we talked about, the time between Elimination Chamber to WrestleMania was quite a while, and so there's only so much that they can do without completely overshadowing what they're trying to book for Mania, because you can't do too much of what you want to happen on Mania before Mania. Otherwise,
Yeah.
why are people going to watch? Like, why would they be excited about it?
Yeah, let's just go right into it because I want to keep this up, and I kind of want to, because yeah, I agree.
Okay. So, the least predictable thing, or the most predictable thing, sorry, the least surprising thing is what I meant,
Hmm.
was The Rock had a rock concert because they were in Memphis, Tennessee. And hello, it's like what, one of the music capitals of the
It
United
is, yeah,
States.
country music. I think it's, yeah, yeah, you're right.
So, yeah, we got a rock concert, and I think for the most part, there was nothing that he really said that was shocking. I think that he's kind of sticking to a script, which is expected because I mean, there's only so many things that he can really say at this point. Like, I appreciate the fact that he's been there as often as he has. So,
He's been there
yeah,
more this year leading up to WrestleMania than
yeah,
Roman was all last year.
I have stuff to say about this. So don't even bring it.
Oh, I bet you do,
Yeah.
Sarah. I bet you do.
So yeah, so he comes in and of course he just immediately goes after Cody's mom because Cody mentioned his mother on Raw when he kind of broke down and said he wanted to be able to hand the championship to his mom because his dad never got to. So he's got beef with that, talking about Cody's conception was a drunken night that Dusty regretted, talking about Seth and how he was not as popular as Becky. Um, Cody crybabies this, crybabies that, blah blah blah.
Yeah, if it followed a formula.
Yeah,
We know this. I was entertained. You
yeah,
did a
and
job. Like, yeah.
I mean, a lot of people were entertained. So I'm not saying that I necessarily wasn't, but I'm it's just expected. And so I feel like, when you're someone who has watched wrestling as long as you have, you kind of expect these things from The Rock. So there's not really a shock value there anymore.
No.
So he did what he had to do, and he took, I don't think it was like on nearly 25 minutes again.
No, it was almost 30 minutes, which
Yeah.
yeah, that's not good. That I love the line where he quotes Moana
Mhm.
in talking about handing the bloody belt of Cody to his mom. Like, I don't think people realize that this is the best version of The Rock we could have possibly got from either scenario of them saying we're gonna go Cody from the get-go
Mhm.
or Rock from the get-go. Like, because there was some riff in the raff,
Mhm.
this is the best thing that could have happened because he is so fucking entertaining.
Well, it's like yeah, I think people don't realize, they're not thinking about, I mean, we've talked about it. People aren't realizing how much better this whole feud is, or sorry, hiccup. How much better this lead up to Mania is than what it could have been. Because imagine how boring a Rock versus Roman lead up would have been. Like, there isn't a whole lot of beef there because it's like their family. And The Rock hasn't really done anything involving Roman to really be like, oh, there's a history there. You know, The Rock has done this and this and that over the past couple years or whatever, like during his tribal chief era. So it's like they would have been trying to come up with things to hype up the feud. And it's like, okay, but Roman, first of all, doesn't even really show up. Second of all, Roman can't hang when it comes to talking. So this would be another moment in his career where his opponent is just completely dominating him. So I think that we're getting a lot more out of this. And then I think that, yeah, heel Rock is better than babyface Rock. Like, this is, even if I'm not the biggest fan of it, obviously I've said that multiple times on here, I do know that this is way more entertaining than The Rock coming out every single week and being like, oh yay, I'm so happy to be here, you know.
And he brought back Hollywood theme.
Mhm.
I marked out because so I hear him, he's coming out. The first thing that opens up when I see or open up SmackDown is The Rock doing the little Twitter thing where we're checking all our peeps, and you hear a drop. And once I heard the drop, I'm like, what's going on? And then, and I
Yeah.
was like, yes, like this is exactly the pivots we need to be making within this story. Is
Yeah.
if you're gonna make Rock the most, the final boss is now we're calling him. Or is that something else that
Mhm.
you want to say? Okay, and then
Mhm.
I'll wrap up. If you're gonna be doing that, you need to go back to the well to get the best versions, like the best heel versions of The Rock, and put them together for now. The majority of it is when he was Hollywood Rock. I mean, some of
Mhm.
those are the best insults, clips, whatever you want to call it out there. And then throw in a little nation stuff, which we're kind of seeing a little bit. This whole heel Rock is incredible.
Yeah, well, and I think it's the most identifiable era of him as a
Mhm,
heel, and so people want that nostalgia factor when it
mhm.
comes to The Rock, because obviously no one expected that he was going to come back and then be a heel. So I think if you're going to do that and have to pivot, then you have to do what people still like, because this dude was getting cheered for ridiculously, which I get, to an extent. I get it, because you're like, oh my God, I'm seeing The Rock. Like, I've never seen The Rock before, or it's been 20 years since I saw him at a show. So I get it. But that's why it's like, it's almost counterproductive, because it's like, it's almost like Cody has to be there with The Rock in order for The Rock to get booed. Otherwise, when he's just there by himself or with Roman, they're not booing him.
I'm
Um,
not sorry. You can't. I do it to all my heel. Like my buddy who's a heel wrestler. Like I will not boo you. I
yeah,
like. I'm sorry. I
it's
can't
like,
do it.
I know that's what you want, but I can't do it.
I'm going to
Um,
cheer for you. I'm going to
yeah.
cheer for you.
So I would say, okay, so the final boss thing I think is interesting, because I think that was laying the foundation to the eventual split up, assuming that it was going to happen at WrestleMania. But that wasn't an accident. The Rock saying that he was the final boss, guys, that's what they've been calling Roman for the past like 2 years. They've been hyping him up as like I like to use Nintendo references. So like the Bowser,
We love it.
like you can't beat him because he's this big tough guy and you're just a little teeny, plumber trying to beat him,
You're just a little teeny plumber, just
yeah, you like
going
trying
through
to beat him
pipes
with
trying
your
to figure it out.
fireballs. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to happen. So I think that was really interesting, because they've hinted a little bit, like they've teased a little bit of tension between them, but then it immediately got smoothed over, with The Rock gonna do the whole if you smell what The Rock is cooking, and Roman it's like stops him. It was like, oh,
I like
Roman
that.
not being thrilled about Rock basically taking over a segment, and he's all like in the corner of the ring being like, oh God. So this I felt like was just another added layer to that, and it works out even more with Roman not there. I feel like it hits more because Roman was like, I'm not showing up, So Rock can kind of get away with it a little bit more and you don't have that immediate reaction. So now we just have to wait and see what Roman will say next week. I think he's going to be there next week. I think he is. Yeah, I think they're coming face to face next week, him and Cody. But speaking of Roman, I find this aspect interesting because last year we were talking about how it basically became Cody Rhodes versus Paul Heyman. And that was that dominated this lead up to WrestleMania. There were those random face-to-face meetings between Cody and Roman, but it was almost consistently Cody talking to Paul. And I would say not that it necessarily like made it less exciting because I think people were really into this feud in the match, obviously, but it's happening again where it's basically Cody versus The Rock. And obviously most people are going to take a back seat to The Rock, no matter who you are, but there are a few that wouldn't, including like John Cena, Randy Orton, Stone Cold, whatever. But yeah, this is becoming Cody versus The Rock. And I'm kind of conflicted on how I feel about that because I get that they have to feature The Rock in some way, especially if this was their pivot, because The Rock was supposed to be in this match with Roman. So he was going to have this prominent role at WrestleMania, and now he doesn't necessarily. But it is kind of disappointing that this is the second year in a row that Cody is going to be facing the champion who is now close to 4 years in his title reign, and he's just like not there. He can't outshine The Rock, and I'm not saying he has to outshine him, but he can't even he's not even equal level. Like I don't care what anyone says. Roman doesn't have that aura. Like he's not that guy. There are a handful, as I already mentioned, of people who can be in the ring with The Rock and not be like swallowed by the fact that The Rock is in the ring with them.
they're on equal levels.
Yeah, and that's not Roman.
Yeah.
Roman looks like a scared little puppy. You almost forget that he's there because he just doesn't have that. He doesn't exude that the way that other people do. And so to me, this is just laying the groundwork even more that Roman has to lose. Like Roman has to lose at WrestleMania because he's as the banner says, he's a non-factor at this point. Like he's irrelevant almost at this point.
Do you think it's more of a sign that he's a non-factor, that Cody is going to eventually win, and that we're telling the conclusion of this chapter of the bloodline, and it's now the end game? We all know what happens at end game.
I think that this is, it has to be. It has to be because I think that we're getting to that point where Roman's reign is fizzling out. Like people aren't really caring. Like it's like there are people who obviously still care and still cheer for him and want to see him clearly. But I feel like we're at this point where, okay, his reign has run its course. Like if you can become a non-factor in the main event of WrestleMania, then what does that tell you? Because
tells you that you're not the focus.
And I would assume that this wouldn't be completely different if we're being honest, if The Rock wasn't involved at all. Roman just doesn't do it. We're talking about even just a year ago. He wasn't a factor in the match. He wasn't at all. It was Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman was doing all the work for him. This fast forward a year later, and now it's The Rock doing it all for him because even when they're all in the ring, Roman doesn't say anything. And if he does,
he needs a mouthpiece.
Yeah, because it's like if he does say something, it's like cringy and like awkward, and it was like, what is going on? Like he just can't do it. And to me, this is another argument that you could have that we could have on another day for the millionth time. But it just hammers home even more to me that Roman was the wrong choice to be the guy. I'm sorry, if you are going to be the face of the company, you need to be a well-rounded individual or like bigger and better than everybody else. And the fact that this dude doesn't have an aura and can't hang on the mic, you're not the guy. Sorry, like
I've heard that. I've heard this argument. How many episodes have we done of
I know.
multiple things?
But I'm saying this hammers
We've
it
done
home
this
even
multiple
more.
times.
You're not even a factor in your own match, in a legendary match as the longest reigning WWE
Because he
champion.
can't
Like,
win. It's like it's literally being written that there is no chance in hell that Roman Reigns walks out of WrestleMania 40 undisputed champion.
I hope
And
you're
if he
right.
does, there will be riots in the streets of Philadelphia.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. Well, because then
Like literally.
we talked about how Rock is going to be filming a movie. So it's not even like, okay, well, they're keeping it on him because they want The Rock to
Yeah.
feud with him afterwards. Not
Boom.
happening.
He leaves May 1st. His
Rock can't.
cruise.
Yeah, he can't. He can't. So, and as we've said, if it's not Cody, then who is it? Like, if it's not your top babyface, then who is it?
And people say that he needs to beat Hogan. Hogan is 3, all right? And 3, like, if he has to beat Hogan, the next 2 are like years longer, and it makes 0 sense. And also, if you look at how many matches they fought in, there you go. That's all I need to say about that record.
Well, and as we've said before, they don't look to be in a position that they want to erase Hogan from the record books. Like, they literally just had him featured multiple times at the Royal Rumble. So
you can't erase him from the record books.
It's not like if Vince McMahon was the longest reigning champion or something, like, yeah, maybe they would try to like eliminate him at this point. But Hogan, like, I get the controversies and people aren't a fan, and you have every right for that, but WWE doesn't view it that way. So that's not
Hulk Hogan is still, as much as I do hate him, he was a forefather in the wrestling industry. So you can't hate on that. But so they're in that regard, yeah, they're not going to do away with Hogan. And Hulk Hogan living on this earth will not allow that to happen. So
yeah.
Let's get some comments here. Okay. Unhinged main event Fro Pitts with the leprechaun cosplay. Well, it's my holiday. It's my holiday, St. Patty's Day.
Sarah, don't hurt the trolls.
Yeah, Sarah, don't come at the trolls too hard today, girl. Okay?
Yeah.
Save all that energy for your ranting about the product. And you've been doing a job.
That's me, by the way.
I'm so happy you said that. I was very confused who hopped in our yard.
Yeah,
it's my yard. It's my yard.
So, okay. Then we move on to the tag team qualifying tourney, which I think this was an interesting way for them to go about it on SmackDown, because they are saying that there's only 2 teams coming from SmackDown. So instead of it just being like, oh, these 2 teams beat these other 2 teams, like, we're going to have a mini tournament basically. So we got to see Legado del Fantasma versus the LWO, which I think everyone knew that was going to be like that was.
I had my fingers crossed. I had my fingers crossed that LWO would have won, but
they had I mean, I'm not saying that they had like a really long match, but they gave them some time. Like, I mean, even if it was not super long or anything, I mean, they could have easily made this in a squash match just based on how they're trying to book Legado. So it's like, okay. And I mean, what they're doing with the LWO, but they didn't. So we do see that they beat Legado del Fantasma wins, obviously. And then we also see New Catch Republic versus Pretty Deadly. And is anyone surprised that New Catch Republic won? Is anyone surprised? No. Okay. This match got some time.
I can't. I'm sorry.
This match got some time as well, but I can't get into this argument again because I honestly, I don't understand it. And I feel like these guys.
Yes, boy! Yes, boy! Yes, boy! Yes, boy! Yes, boy! Yes, boy!
I mean, hello. They're even wearing the NXT tag team titles in that. So like
championship material.
Yeah. So then we're going to continue the matches next week, where we'll see Street Profits versus Authors of Pain and A-Town Down Under versus the Good Brothers. I'm calling them the Good Brothers. They're saying that it's the OC. I'm like, the OC is disbanded, and now that it's just 2 of them, I think it's the Good Brothers. So that's what I'm going to call them. I don't care.
I do agree with you actually there. Like,
Yeah,
no, that's
it's the Good
yeah,
Brothers.
that's sound logic.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are the Good Brothers.
We stand the Good Brothers. However, I think we know that it's going to be Street Profits probably versus A-Town Down Under. I would assume Street Profits are going to win because why wouldn't they? Unless they're going to do a match against the Final Testament, then I guess maybe A-Town Down Under goes in, which I would almost prefer because when I was looking at all of the matchups, it felt like 5 of the 6 teams are going to be babyface teams. And I was like, okay, so the only like heel team would be Judgment Day.
No.
Like so I feel like A-Town Down Under needs to be in that match. And who else do I think? Okay, so I would assume New Cash Republic is going to beat Legato. Just because I would assume Legato and LWO, Rey Mysterio, whatever, they're going to have some sort of match.
Yeah, you got to give Pete Dunne and not even Dunne, but Tyler Bate. You got to give them a Mania moment, man. Those are Triple H's NXT UK peeps.
Yeah,
you got to give them. And imagine us seeing them. Oh my god, I've actually I've seen Butch.
Yeah.
Okay, Butch doesn't friggin' count.
Yeah. So
I want to see Pete Dunne.
Same. And then we get on Monday we're gonna see Awesome Truth versus
the Indus Shear Source figures.
Yeah, Indus Shear, Awesome Truth are winning, obviously. DIY versus Creed Brothers honestly could go either way.
That's a toss-up. No, that literally is a toss-up.
And I don't know that I'd be mad either way, but I kind of feel like DIY has been the one that they've been prioritizing recently, so I feel like they're probably the front runner for me, but that doesn't mean anything. I mean, just because they haven't really been as focused on Creed Brothers doesn't mean anything. And then they also have New Day versus Alpha Academy. New Day's winning, obviously.
New Day's winning that. Alpha Academy, no shot.
So that could mean New Day. This is just my thought process. New Day, DIY, Awesome Truth, Street Profits, A-Town Down Under, and Judgment Day.
Okay.
Like, to me, I'm like, couldn't you have thrown another heel team in there? Like, why not Pretty Deadly? Why not
Pretty
Imperium?
Deadly would have been electric. Oh, Imperium. Sarah.
I know, but if I'm supposed to believe that they're injured, then I'll believe I'll try and be like more okay with it if they're injured. If Ludwig is injured.
See, my thing is I don't see DIY winning because they seem like they're going all in with this R-Truth Regeneration X. And what a better way to start this would be like R-Truth being the champ, but R-Truth being champion and being like, why? No, you guys are Triple H and Shawn Michaels. You guys are like hit them spinning it that way. Like just the way Truth works, like so
had to sneeze. Sorry.
So I can see it more that way. And DIY doesn't. I mean, it would be nice to get them on Mania, but if you're just gonna throw them into this match to just have them on Mania, it's a better spot for R-Truth to be in, and it's better here than the host of WrestleMania.
I agree. I actually didn't think about it like that. And then the Creeds will put on a good match too. It's not like they wouldn't.
And the Creeds, honestly, like give the Creeds that moment. Like the Creeds are made for if it's a ladder match. Could you imagine a Brutus? No, because
a Brutus ball. Yeah.
A Brutus bomb off the ladder, like that. Like that's what they're thinking before they're making this match. Like you got to think like that, and it's a good moment for them where you'd rather have Johnny Gargano and Tommaso go after whoever to help R-Truth win. And you want that.
I hope that if they do split the titles, with one hanging on one ladder and the other on the other side, like we've talked about and what they should do. My hope is that if that's what they do, and 5 out of the 6 teams, or I guess even 4 out of the 6 teams are baby faces, if we want to believe that A-Town Down Under is going to get in there, I assume they will. Then Judgment Day has to retain Raw. Because
Raw. Maybe our Awesome Truth.
well, the Austin Truth can go to SmackDown. I just don't see them splitting Judgment Day.
No.
So I'm just saying, like, they cannot have two babyface teams win the new titles. Like,
oh, I don't think. Yeah, I agree.
So that's what I'm
I
saying.
agree with that.
See them doing it with A-Town Down Under. So I think it would be more so Judgment Day retains at least the Raw titles, but I don't know. All right, then we move on to LA Knight, who was on TV for the first time in over a month. I think he was actually at the arena for the first time in over a month, because every other
That was wild.
it's been a backstage segment or an interview or whatever. So that was exciting, and I'm kind of confused about it. I don't really know.
They need to bring him out. I
know, that's why he gets the Cody Rhodes treatment. Not many people get that treatment of being interviewed on the entrance ramp, but LA Knight got it.
I love that move. I love that they're doing that now.
Yeah, I like it because you know why they're doing it. And it's like pretty cool that it's LA Knight. They got it this time, because usually, like I said, it's Cody Rhodes, but nope, it was LA Knight this week. And basically, he just came out to challenge AJ Styles at WrestleMania, which it's about flipping time, because we've been talking about this since, I think, even before Elimination Chamber. We thought something was going to happen potentially at Elimination Chamber. Then we weren't sure because he wasn't put in the match. But of course, we saw that he flew 8 million miles just to make sure that LA Knight did not win. So we've just been waiting. And so while he's out there, AJ does come out and attack him with a chair and just beats him down and accepts the challenge. So now we know officially that AJ Styles versus LA Knight will be happening at WrestleMania, which is pretty cool because, we weren't sure what was going to happen with either of them, but especially LA Knight this year. And I think that the overall reaction to this, I think, was kind of split. And I think part of that is because there were so many people that had jumped on the bandwagon to have him versus Logan Paul, or at least not even just Logan Paul, but in a match for the US title. And so people thought, okay, finally he is going to be winning his first title. He's going to get a Mania match and then he's going to win the title. And so I think now that that's not the case, that he's only facing AJ Styles, I'm actually seeing more people upset about it. But, I would say I understand, because I started to get on that bandwagon too. But I also feel like, guys, he's facing like a legendary person. Like, he's facing.
Yeah, you gotta think of it like that. Where if you look at the U.S. title match that we're going to talk about in a couple of minutes, like, that makes sense for the U.S. title right now. Yeah. LA Knight needs to be launched into another stratosphere where he can be held and go toe to toe with former WWE champions to then eventually become one. And you need a feud like this, especially at Mania, where you just need 2 stars. Like, that's what WrestleMania is sometimes. If you watch back, like, there's some matches that have just no business being on the card if it's not a title match, but it is. Like Triple H Undertaker WrestleMania 17. Absolute banger of a match, grudge feud, and they delivered for WrestleMania. It's a WrestleMania type feud. So if you're going to get that treatment right now with AJ Styles, if you're LA Knight, you're much rather preferring that, because the US title doesn't really mean anything for you right now. What means something for you is the fact that you can have, I would say, above a 3.5 to 4-star type caliber match with a guy like AJ Styles.
Well, and I think that I understand the disappointment that he's not going to be a walk out of Mania a champion, but also if you were still holding on to that after what AJ did at Elimination Chamber, then you're just setting yourself up to be upset, because it's very clear they didn't have AJ fly that many hours to make sure that LA Knight didn't win the Elimination Chamber for them to then pivot to put him in the US title match like that. I mean,
all time hater move.
Yeah.
Let's get to one. I saw a comment here from Damon Fowler.
Oh, sorry.
Roman Reigns is a closet champion. That was not it, but that is also a good one. He is. What's the other one? SmackDown, bring back the feed me more. No, we will never.
That will never happen.
Pitt's got a lot of history on his shoulder. Damn right. So I picked it. All right, historical guy. And then he also said WWE tag belts need to change. SmackDown belts need to be called the United States tag titles. Raw belts need to be called Intercon. All right, I don't necessarily agree with the names, but I do like the direction you're going. You know, don't just make it the Raw or the SmackDown. Give it, you know, some prestigious kind of name like the Intercontinental, like the World Tag Team Champions, the WWE, like something as simple as that.
Yeah,
you can do.
I think that would be the easiest way to do it, to differentiate them. You know, like they can look similar, I guess, if they want to keep that. But I also feel like it would be kind of cool if they did look different, you know, especially they need a new design anyway, because the current design is horrendous. I mean, basically since they introduced the giant pennies, we've needed a new design. But I think, yeah, that's basically what they've done with the WWE Championship, the Women's Championship. We now have the World Heavyweight and the Women's World Title. So why not do that the same thing with and then just flip flop them, like put the SmackDown ones be the World Tag Team titles because we have the World Heavyweight on Raw, and just make the WWE Tag Team titles on Raw. That way it's like not too many of the same, like similar names, you know what I mean? Or I guess they could put the World on Raw too, because they also have the Women's World title on Raw, so just make it uniform, I guess. But
yeah, I feel like that makes and now that you mention it, that makes more sense.
Yeah, so I hope that that's what happens, especially if they do split the titles. I mean, they should be splitting the titles, but they haven't really confirmed that that's what they want to do. So I don't know. Moving on. So we see Logan Paul.
This was awesome.
He is in the back speaking to Nick Aldis. I mean, I guess it was a one-way conversation, honestly. It wasn't really Nick
Aldis. There was no two parties. That was one man speaking.
It was no conversation. It was Logan talking. I guess that's a better way to say it.
Just talking at him.
Yeah. So he said that he came in and was just expecting for Nick to update him about Randy being punished for what he did to him and KSI last week. And Nick Aldis is like, no, like nothing's happening. And I loved that. I'm loving Nick Aldis. I'm obsessed. I love him as a general manager. I love that he's kind of like no BS. Huh?
No, I love him.
What?
Love Nick Aldis as a GM.
Oh. Hello?
Hello?
Oh, you're breaking out.
No.
Oh.
Hold on.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Okay, you're here. You're here.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, you're oh, now you're clear.
Oh, goodness. Okay, hello?
Hi.
Oh no. Okay, hello?
Hi. Hello.
Hello? Hi. Okay, we're back.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. Oh. Okay, hold on.
All right, so while Sara leaves there, I will continue the show as per usual. World Tag Team belts and WWE Tag belts. They did it 20 years ago. Let's do it again. Why not? What they're basically doing now. Just like, why not? There you go. How do you doing?
Okay, hi. Sorry.
There we go.
So let's restart this. Okay, so Logan Paul strolls into Nick Aldis's office and is basically telling him, like, you need to punish Randy Orton for what he did last week to me and KSI. It was very unprofessional, blah, blah, blah. Nick is not enthused, nor is he interested in doing that. So Logan is like threatening to do something to Randy or to Nick for not doing anything. And then he also says that he needs a Mania opponent because he still doesn't have one. So that sets up basically the next part, which we see Grayson Waller versus Randy Orton. And we see Logan Paul come out to sit on commentary, and obviously A-Town Down Under is out as well because Austin Theory, of course, is going to be with his guy Grayson Waller. This match was fine. It's what we expected. They attack Randy at the end. We see Austin Theory set it up so Logan can get in a punch with his reconstructed fist, I guess. And that is when Kevin Owens comes out to make the save, hits Theory with the stunner, which sets up the RKO. And Nick Aldis then comes out to let Logan know, hey, by the way, I just came up with what your Mania match is going to be, and it will be you versus Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton for the US title. Logan is not happy about it, but I am.
I'm very happy about it. I think that is a fantastic match for Mania. And Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, Logan Paul added to that mix. That's going to be a very entertaining match.
Yeah, we expected that this was going to probably be a multi-man match as well. It's not what we thought it was going to be. Like, we thought it was going to be like a ladder match or like a 5-man match or whatever, but they decided to do that with the tag team title. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. I still think this is going to be a really good match, and I don't know who's going to win. I honestly don't know. Like,
I have a feeling Logan's going to sneak away with it.
Really?
That's my initial feeling, is that he's just gonna sneak a pin to get the win.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard. I don't know, and I think part of it is because neither Randy or Kevin need to win the title. You know what I mean? Because it's not the WWE title. But I think when we were thinking about this being LA Knight, we were like, okay, LA Knight's winning. Like, Logan's not leaving Mania as champion. But now it's kind of like, I really don't know, but I would not be surprised if they have Logan win. Because is he a loser at WrestleMania? I think he has a losing record at Mania.
Randy?
No, Logan.
1-1.
Okay, so I don't know.
He beat Seth.
Oh, that's right. So
Seth.
There might be some clarification over the next 3 weeks or whatever we have until Mania, that maybe we'll get a bigger hint about who might be the winner, but we shall see. I don't know.
We shall see.
So another moment, we can get to comments in a second. Another moment that we saw was Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar. Of course, this is still rooted in the Dragon Lee wants to be Rey Mysterio. Ha ha ha. So that went on and whatever. I mean, that's just it's whatever. I feel like this is not really something that any of us are really that intrigued by, but it is what it is, I guess. I don't know.
I'm so checked out of this, by the way. You can say your piece on it, because I don't know what else to say about this. I really don't.
I'm excited that Dragon Lee is back on Smackdown. I am excited about that, because he was showing up and was putting on banger matches, and then they detoured him back down to NXT. So I'm glad he is back on Smackdown. But yeah, I'm just not interested in this, but so Santos wins. Then they try to beat him up afterwards. Carlito comes out, and then Rey Mysterio comes out, and then he challenges Santos to a match next week. My assumption is that's not going to end well, and that's going to set up a potential Rey versus Santos at WrestleMania. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
this
is whatever.
I don't care anymore. Rey Mysterio's back, cool. I'm more excited about Logan Paul at WrestleMania than I am Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, I think it's just
2024 in a nutshell.
Well, this is just this is how long it's been going on. It's been going on for so long that it's just kind of okay, we get it. And it's you know that they probably were doing it because they wanted Rey to be able to have the end involvement in it. But it's just at the same time though, it's okay, but we're exhausted. It was the same thing with Becky versus Trish. Thank God we got that final cage match, which I'm thankful for, but everything in between, it was oh my God, this feels like it's been 3 years.
It's been way too long. It's been way too long.
If you want to get to comments, we can do them now if you'd like.
I said one just because it's a quick one. Do you see Theory and Wall losing to the OC? I wouldn't be surprised.
No.
Oh, you don't? I could see it because they're already in the NXT tag team title tournament.
Do you see Theory and Waller losing to the OC?
Oh, I read that wrong.
So no, I do not.
wrong.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't because and I'm calling them the Good Brothers, so that's what I'm gonna call them. I do not see the Good Brothers moving on. I think that they needed to put another tag team in there, and it was kind of like a team that you cared about but didn't really care about. I love them, so I care, but I think that they don't have a direction for Theory or Waller, but they're good enough to be at Mania. I mean, if we're really thinking about Theory was against John Cena last year, so the idea of him not even being at Mania this year is kind of crazy. So I think if everything else goes according to how we think it's going to go, then they need to have another heel tag team in that match, and it's going to be Theory and Waller.
1,000%. And then this one, because we were on the topic, they could have KO win the triple threat and Sammy win the IC belt, and they could have a moment like Eddie and you know who could at WrestleMania 20. Maybe, but like they already had their moment last year. That was their moment.
Also,
you know,
also it's, I mean, it's not the same because
it's not.
Eddie, and I'm gonna say his name because I don't care.
can
Eddie
say
and
it.
Benoit were like relegated to the mid card for most of their careers, and so it was such a big moment that they both had, you know, WWE championship matches at WrestleMania, put on incredible matches, both of them. The triple threat for the world heavyweight with Benoit winning is one of my all-time favorite matches. Like, if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. Even if you, oh jeez Louise, even if you you know, don't want to because Benoit's in the match, it's fantastic. And so them coming together at the end, it was because like they finally overcame you know, the stigma that had been attached to them because they were the smaller guys, and they were like, I'm just God. They were the smaller guys, and they were stuck in the mid card, and you know, no one ever thought that they were going to be a WWE champion. Never mind, you know, like a world heavyweight champion. So I feel like that meant more. But with Kevin Owens and Sammy, it's like, okay, well, they both have been multi-time champions. Kevin has already been a WWE and Universal champion, so it's like it wouldn't hit the same, in my opinion.
No,
but I understand like your thought process. I get it. Hello?
How long do you think Nick Aldis is going to play SmackDown GM before he becomes a wrestler? Oh no, she left. Here's the thing. I see him doing this role a little bit longer, where before he gets in the ring, like I think he's the best SmackDown GM. I would say GM that the product has had in quite some time. So he doesn't need to, you know, go into the ring right now, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen at some point.
Internet gave out again, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, my computer's getting low on battery. So
okay, well, we're getting close. So
here we go. Let's go to da-na-na-na-na-na. Ooh, so
after a very unexciting challenge on Raw by Jey Uso to his brother Jim, we see Jimmy accept it on SmackDown, which was like a very weird moment, I would say, because you see them walk in, Paul Heyman gets scared, and then Jimmy just comes out of nowhere, super hyped, accepts it, and then they have him on camera for far too long, way too close to the screen. Yeah, it was a weird moment, but
that was, excuse me.
You knew that this was what was going to happen anyway. You knew that this was going to be a match. I feel like, in a way, part of me, the reason why I'm a little bit disappointed with just how it's all come together, and I saw a couple people who felt like they kind of rushed this. I just was hoping for it to be bigger, or like a bigger moment for them leading up to them finally being like, okay, we're going to face off at Mania, because I feel like, knowing that this was a dream match for them, I kind of hoped that it would be like a culmination of a bunch of exciting stuff that finally got them to the point of, okay, yeah, we're going to have a match at Mania. And right now it does just kind of feel like, okay, well, we need to have them on Mania, so let's do it now. And so
to me, it seems like they're going in the direction that this match is going to be more than just a one-on-one match. So you introduce it now, it's happening. Now you build it up, and then it's like, all right, it's a tribal something, or it's a false count anywhere, or special referee Rikishi, like something like that.
I mean, that would be fine, I guess, and they have a few weeks to kind of like make it better. But yeah, I just kind of had wished that it would be a little bit better, but it is what it is. And then we get to the main event, which was Bayley versus Dakota Kai, and you could tell Bayley was so ready to get her hands on Dakota because, girl. So, well, she does this. Yeah.
We got the power.
Yeah. Personally, I like, when it was
Kill shot.
It was Finn, when Finn was like doing this when he was in New Japan. And they were like literally doing this to people in the Bullet Club. When I tell you,
they did it on Dynamite this week.
When I tell you some of those pictures of Finn when he's like doing that and he's like, oh my god, when I tell you how thirsty I am, I'm telling you I'm thirsty.
You're parched. You are parched, to say the least.
For Fergal, for my Fergie Ferg.
Ferg.
So anyway, so Bayley is anxious and wants to get her hands on her, like right before, even as the bell goes off. And it was a fine match. It was Dakota's first match in over a year or whatever it is. So that was exciting for her. It was exactly what we thought was going to happen. No, it wasn't going to end fairly. Damage Control were going to be heavily involved, which is what happened. So Bayley won via disqualification. Then when they're beating her up, we get Naomi. Naomi comes out for the save after we saw her last week saying, hey, I kind of feel bad for her. And Bianca is like, girl, you're crazy. So we see Naomi is like, no, I still do. I feel for her, whatever. So to me, it looks like we might be, I don't think it's going to be, people are trying to say, oh, it's going to be like a 3-on-3 match. They're going to change the tag match or the women's title match. No, I think it's going to probably be potentially 3-on-3, so it might not be the women's tag titles. It could be, but it could be the women's tag titles versus Bianca and Naomi. It could be Naomi and Jade, because we did see that little run-in backstage a few weeks ago with Jade and Damage Control. Or if it is going to be 3-on-3, then it would be Bianca, Naomi, and Jade versus the Kabuki Warriors and Dakota Kai. So if that's the direction they're going in, I'm kind of here for it. Like, that's fine with me, because I think that the women's tag titles should be at Mania. Like, even if it isn't like an exciting match or, super exciting to look forward to, I do think if you threw in like Jade, that makes it a little bit more exciting. And you can't have Bianca not on the card. Sorry. So if this is the way that they're going to go about it, then I'm fine.
I'm totally fine with it. Get her on the card, have Jade too. I'm all for it.
I also think it's a good way to get Jade in, and then they can easily beat them. Like, even if it's not for the tag team titles, which I feel like you can still do it for the tag titles if it's 3-on-3, if you really want to.
You can absolutely enact some sort of free bird bullshit rule. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that would be a good way to get Jade in, because like, it's not going to make her look bad, because one would assume they're going to probably try and strip Damage Control of all of their power, kind of like what they're trying to do with the Bloodline.
How could they though? If it was a tag team with three?
I don't know.
I'm
just thinking in Fantasyland they can do it.
They do. Yeah. You could. Like, they'll spin it, be like, well, Jade's not ready, so it'll be Bianca and Naomi, and then like they could do it. I just probably, you gotta explain it to me before you do it. But
yeah. But I mean, and that's the thing, is like, I don't think that anyone would be upset about it. You know what I mean? It's like, if you can see that people are, sorry, I just saw that Justin Fields was traded.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that. That's kind of why, like, for a part of what you were saying,
to the Steelers.
Yeah, girl. It's
okay.
Yeah. You're gonna. Here's the thing: we're so close to the end of the show, and you need to have like a full out, like, because I need to dissect this too, because it is just absolutely shenanigans.
Yeah,
and the drinking hasn't even started yet. Well, it kind of has, not really.
That is wild. The only other thing I wanted to talk about was the updated Mania card, and I'm trying to find the post where people put it.
I'll start by saying, from what I saw, B. It's a solid B right now. because I don't think everything's finalized. I think the card
no.
itself will get to like a B plus overall, and it will over deliver. Like they're gonna over deliver this show.
Okay, here it is. So Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton for the U.S. title. AJ Styles versus LA Knight. Jimmy Uso versus Jay Uso. Gunther versus Sammy for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. The 6-pack challenge for the tag team titles in a ladder match. The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship. Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch for the Women's World Championship. Io Sky versus Bayley for the Women's Championship. And Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed Championship.
That's a good card.
It is
It's
really
a very
good.
good card.
I would say it's like, I wouldn't necessarily, I would say it's still an A. Like, to me, it's like, I'm seeing a lot of the matches that I wanted to see. So it's like I'm seeing a lot of the people I wanted to see. Obviously, I have my issues with the tag team championship match. But yeah, I'm like, okay, like I don't feel like this is a card where we're gonna be sitting there and being like, oh man, like I really wish this person was there. Oh, why isn't this person on the card? Like I feel like they've done a great job and put together some really good matches. And it's not even just like on paper that they're really good matches. I think they're going to be really good matches. And I have
they're gonna over deliver. I said it.
I have really high hopes. Yeah, I have really high hopes.
High hopes for a living.
Are you singing the band, my favorite bands?
I am like wrestling. Patty Pitts doesn't do things on accident.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, I think it's really good. And from what I've been seeing, the most like the common reaction is that people are pretty happy with what the card is, which is funny to me because people are acting like, oh, CM Punk needed to come back because he needs to save Mania. And I get it. Like if he was on the card, yeah, but like I don't think that the card is sitting here and we're like, oh man, this is so bad because Punk's not on it. You know what I mean?
Like who's in charge? It's because of who's in charge of booking. If Vince was in charge of booking, yes, it needed to be saved. But you have Papa Paul in there who knows how to steer the ship in the right direction. And even though there's a little bit of a miscue and there's an injury or two, you know how to pivot in the right direction. I'm so excited for this. I can't wait.
Me too.
Yeah, that's all we got for you guys today. It is St. Paddy's Day. Go out and celebrate responsibly. And if you're not Irish, go listen to an Irish song. You know what? I'm not going to tell you to go read something or be fucking academic.
I'm 7% Irish.
There you go. Listen to an Irish song because that will put you in a great mood.
What is a Scottish holiday?
Leif Erikson Day.
Okay. Well,
whatever. So go look up. You got to go do some research on Leif Erikson. My boy SpongeBob celebrates a whole holiday about it. He's Scottish. It's great.
Okey-dokey.
So go subscribe, hit that subscribe button and bell notification to know every time we go live and post, and follow us on all the social media platforms by checking out that link in the description below and the affiliate link. We have an affiliate link to the WWE shop. So
there's
check that out.
Yeah, there's a Stone Cold 316 sale ending tonight at midnight. And you can use our affiliate link to get even more. I think it's like another 10% or something. So if you want anything, I'm going to be buying stuff. So
mine too. I just bought Wale Mania tickets, baby, because WrestleMania season's here and all the celebs are going to be at Wale Mania. So you can't have all the celebs if you don't have the champ and the best of the West there as well. So can't wait for that. And until next time, thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you got to do is try. We're going to do it. Yeah, we did it. Happy St. Me Day.